Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video, I will be breaking into the 5 most underrated vehicles, aircraft, whatever you want to call it, in Grand Theft Auto Online that you should be using more. It'll make your life easier, and it'll help you out whether you're grinding or just trying to have fun and survive. In the number 5 position, we have the Buzzard Attack Helicopter. A lot of people know about the Sparrow, and most of you own Kosatkas, so you go to Service Vehicles, Kosatka, and boom, you request your Sparrow. And just like that, my Sparrow's right behind me. Takes literally a second, but every now and then, something happens. It's unfortunate, and your Sparrow blows up. Well, evidently it doesn't, but your Sparrow blows up. Or, let's say you're trying to do a mission, you forget to return your Sparrow back to your moon pool, and whoopsie, now you've got 2 minutes with no helicopter. That's really annoying, and it's super unfortunate. But if you go to SecuroServe CEO, you go to CEO of Vehicles, and you own a Buzzard, you can call one in for free. And as we can see, just like the Sparrow, it will spawn my Buzzard in right next to me. It's super easy, and it makes life an absolute breeze. This is honestly great, and the Buzzard has a lot of capabilities, just like the Sparrow. First of all, it has homing missiles. Now, to be honest, the homing missiles aren't as good as the Sparrows because you can't spam them, but it still does get 2 homing missiles, which is quite nice. But it also features a minigun, which is incredibly dangerous, and honestly, a lot of people really like the minigun on the Buzzard. I'd also say the Buzzard's a little bit more maneuverable. It's definitely not a flat better option than the Sparrow. I'll tell you 9 times out of 10, I'll choose a Sparrow. It has flares, it has better missiles, and even more survivability after the buffs. But that doesn't take away from the fact that in a pinch, the Buzzard is super useful. And it's not ridiculously expensive, so I would definitely say it's a solid choice to get. Especially when you realize that when you are inside of something like your CEO office building, you can call it in whenever you'd like, easily, right through your office desk. You cannot do that with a Sparrow, because the Sparrow was added into the game after the CEO office stuff. I wish that you could call your personal Sparrow in through your CEO assistant, but as you're going to see, if we walk over to our front desk, we have some Pegasus concierge options. And we got the Swift Deluxe, the Velatus, and there you go. The Buzzard Attack Helicopter. For just $500, I can call out my personal Buzzard whenever I'd like. And this is super nice, because you don't have to worry about getting out a Sparrow, you can have a weaponized vehicle right to your disposal whenever you need it. So yeah, I actually think the Buzzard is a great purchase. I think that you'll use it a lot more than you think, especially if you ever do have your CEO as your spawn location, which is what I normally do. It's just a great option. It's always great in a pinch. And because of that, it makes it into the number 5 position. There's a lot of Dominators available in Grand Theft Auto, and most of them are fairly expensive. We've got the new FX Interceptor, 4.9 million, the Apocalypse Dominator, the Dominator ASP. Almost all of them are over $1 million, except the Pisswasser Dominator. This vehicle is available for free on Southern San Andreas for every single player. And the thing that's crazy about this vehicle is that it features a top speed of 125 miles per hour, making it the 10th fastest muscle car out of 80. And not only that, it features a pretty good lap time at 1 minute 6 seconds, putting it 18th out of the 80 muscle cars. This makes the Pisswasser Dominator one of the best muscle cars available in the game. And as I said, simply going to Southern San Andreas and sorting by price. Well, we got to go to 2-door vehicles, but then sorting by price, we can see right here is the Pisswasser Dominator. You can get it for free. And it's a great car. First of all, it has a really cool livery that I actually really like. A lot of people that are not familiar with this car will honestly have no clue how you got a livery for a stock Dominator. Not only that, but it has decent customization. You can put some carbon fiber on it. You can put a little bit of a ducktail spoiler. But as I mentioned, this vehicle's fast. 125 miles per hour is more akin to that of a sports car. In fact, it's even fast for a sports car. And it's good on maneuverability. It's a fun vehicle to drive. It sounds amazing because it's a muscle car. It's just a great vehicle to get your hands on. And the fact that it's free basically says there's really no excuse to why you wouldn't want to get this vehicle. So I definitely tell you that if you're a new player, this is 100% a fantastic shout. Every new player should want to get their hands on this vehicle. And even if you're an experienced player, this is just a fun car to quiz your friends, ask them if they know what it is, driving around, and it's just a really, really good vehicle to have some fun with. Especially if you play on PC like me, where a lot of the vehicles are HSW non-existent right now. It means that this is actually even faster than the top 10 because there's no HSW. So it's actually in like the top 6. It's a really fun vehicle. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this one. In the number 3 position, we have a vehicle that a lot of people know about, but really just don't use all too much. And that is the Vapid Speedo Custom, which comes free in your nightclub. Going to manage vehicles, we can see request special vehicle. The Vapid Speedo Custom is always the first on the list, which is actually really nice. It means you never have to scroll for it. You never have to call your mechanic and scroll through 80,000 different vehicles. It is always the first right on your interaction menu list, which is actually super nice. What's also nice is that the Vapid Speedo Custom is fully upgradable, whether or not you have bunker research done, and it doesn't matter what level you are. You can fully upgrade this vehicle on its weapons and overall capabilities as a level 1. So this is a great beginner vehicle, and you don't need to do bunker research. So those two things alone make the Vapid Speedo Custom already great. What capabilities does it have? Well, it has the exact same remote minigun that the weaponized Tampa does. Sure, it's not a dual minigun, but it does the exact same damage. You can see just how quickly it is able to blow up cars by shooting at them. This thing is a freaking menace. And not only that, this thing actually has better armor than the weaponized Tampa. Frontally, these metal panels actually count as armor, which is very rare. Normally, they don't. But yeah, for this vehicle, as we can see, you can shoot at these metal panels all day, even the center here, it does nothing. The glass itself is also armored. It takes over 27 rifle rounds to cut through the frontal glass and the side glass, meaning that it's actually very bullet resistant, and if you're ever doing any missions in a public session, this is a great shout to use. And then we have the final thing about it, which is even better. This thing has proximity mines, explosive proximity mines that will blow up vehicles anytime they drive over them, and you can spam these over and over and over. The only disadvantage this vehicle has over something like the weaponized Tampa is that it's slightly slower, going at around 100 miles per hour instead of the 110 that the weaponized Tampa goes. But honestly, who cares? With every other advantage, why would you ever want to use a weaponized Tampa when this vehicle has proximity mines, which the weaponized Tampa does? It has the exact same minigun, but I should mention way better protection. It has no windows on the back at all, so you can also just not damage the person from behind. I think this vehicle is really underrated. I love to use it on certain setups, especially when I'm doing the Cayo Perico heist setups and I'm getting the plasma cutter. I love using this. Call it in really quickly, mow down the crowd, grab the plasma cutter, drive a little bit away, call out my Sparrow, and go back to the sub. So this is a great vehicle, and I can tell you for a fact that you will really, really enjoy it. I mean, what's there not to like? And again, as I mentioned, it comes for free with your nightclub. So most of you already have this vehicle. You're just not using it. I can tell you that you will really enjoy it. In the number 2 position, we have a vehicle that I can tell you every single one of you has used. It just depends how much you use it. That being the Doco Death. I honestly love the look of the Doco Death. I think it is one of the coolest looking vehicles in the game. And not only does it look cool, but it performs really well. The Doco Death is fairly fast, reaching around 110 miles per hour. It's not the fastest muscle car, and its handling isn't anything exceptional, but it's not bad. That's what I'm getting at. Mobility-wise, it's pretty good actually, because it's very heavy, it has decent cornering capabilities. And because it's also very heavy, it doesn't really matter if there's cars in front of you. As you can see, it pretty effortlessly pushes cars out of its way with, not much to stop you. Even if you're driving into oncoming, well, these are motorcycles, but you can see even if I'm driving into oncoming traffic, it's not hard to push it right out of your way. Then we break into the bullet resistance this vehicle features. The Doco Death has quite a bit of armor panels around it, and if we pull out any gun, we can see that all of this actually counts as proper armor. On the roof, this entire side panel here is all armored, so basically it's pretty hard to shoot the driver of the vehicle. And as well, this engine block here counts as armor, so usually when this vehicle is driving towards you, if you just angle it slightly, the engine block, you can see it's kind of tilted downward, but on flat ground, that engine block does a pretty good job at hiding your head, making it even harder to shoot. And the best part is the entire back of this vehicle, completely bulletproof. Does not matter where you get shot. So because of that, it's very easy to just keep the back of your Duke towards whoever's trying to kill you, and they're never ever going to be able to kill you because of the armor. Then we arrive to the explosion resistance. The Doco Death can actually survive upwards of 5 homing missiles before it gets blown up. That's quite a bit, especially when you realize that this vehicle has way better bulletproof protection than any Amani Tech vehicle. So it can survive multiple explosions, it's fairly fast, and it's very good at pushing cars out of its way. So you might be asking, how much does it cost? Well, the answer is absolutely nothing. Making your way to Warstock Cash and Carry and sorting by price, you will see the Duke is free. Always. Doesn't matter if you're a brand new player or not, it's free. And the fact that the Doco Death is free is insane. First of all, if you're a brand new player, it has a couple things going for it. As I said, armor that, whether upgraded or not, will survive couple explosions and is very good against bullets. But not only that, this vehicle has bulletproof tires equipped automatically, which means if you're a new player, you have to get, I think, to level 25 to unlock bulletproof tires or purchase some in the auto shop, which you won't have. So the fact that you can get an armored vehicle at level 1 with bulletproof tires unlocked immediately is incredible. But even as an experienced player, I think this is where people really underrate the Duke. You know, a lot of experienced players say, I don't need this car. I use the Kuruma, or I pull out my Amani Tech vehicles. And sure, they're great. But I can tell you that the Duke is a vehicle you should mess around with more. It's fast, it's got great capabilities. The fact that it has kind of the bulletproof protection of an armored Kuruma mixed with the survivability of an Amani Tech vehicle means that there's really never a situation that I'm worried about dying in the Doco Death. And because of that, I absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But yeah, I think the Doco Death really is an underrated beast. And that brings us to the #1 most underrated vehicle, at least in my opinion, and that is an Amani Tech vehicle. Now in front of us we have 2 very well-known Amani Tech cars. We have the Buffalo STX, which I love the look of. It's a great car. It's a 4-seater. It's fast. It's got handling and survivability out the wazoo. It's a great vehicle. And then we also have the Obey Ominous EGT, which for many people is the best Amani Tech vehicle in the game because it can survive 10 sticky bombs, 10 homing missiles. It holds 4 people. It's fast. It's kind of the jack of all trades. But I can tell you that this Amani Tech vehicle does every single thing better than the Obey Ominous EGT. And this is the Buffalo EVX. First of all, I think the Buffalo EVX looks amazing. You might not agree with that, but I think it looks great. I think it looks like a muscle car with a bit of an electric design added onto it. I love the front design. I love the liveries going for this vehicle. I honestly think this is one of my favorite looking muscle cars that Rockstar has added into the game. I still don't understand why people hate on electric vehicles. I really don't. Every time I make a video saying this electric vehicle is great, people are like, but it's electric. I'm like, so? What's your point? It's a more futuristic car that has been developed with a lot of engineering. Electric vehicles have much better torque than their gas-powered counterparts, and I just don't really see where the hate's coming from. A lot of electric cars are known for being even faster than gas-powered cars, and definitely are geared towards the future. With that being said, I really like the EVX, and let's talk about some of the reasons why. First of all, if you play on next-generation console, it's an HSW vehicle, meaning that it's faster by a long shot to something like the Obey Ominous EGT. In fact, it has the #1 handling and lap time for muscle cars in the game. Even if you don't have the Amani Tech upgrade, it is still in the top 10 for muscle cars in terms of handling. It's actually really impressive how well this thing handles because it's an all-wheel drive muscle car. It's really good. Not only does this vehicle handle really well, but it also features the exact same bullet survivability and explosion survivability as the EGT. It can survive 10 sticky bombs, 10 homing missiles, it has a missile lock-on jammer, it has a slick mine that you can drop. So it's a full-fledged Amani Tech car. It survives more explosions than the EGT, or not the EGT, the Buffalo STX, than any other vehicle apart from the other electric Amani Tech cars. It handles better, and it has a better top speed because of the HSW upgrades. It really is just kind of one of the best, in my opinion, Amani Tech vehicles in the game. If you want the most survivability, this is the way to go. It's faster than the Virtue. It has better handling than the Virtue. Yes, its acceleration isn't better, but it is a better car than the Virtue overall. And it's definitely better than the EGT, as long as you don't care about having 4 seats. And judging that most of us play solo, that's really not too much of an issue. So yeah, this is my picks for the most underrated vehicles. I really think that most of these cars are not known or used by many of the people in the GTA community. And I think that you'll learn to find that most of them are actually really fun to use and great shouts. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you agree, if you disagree, and as always, if you'd like to see more content like this, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!